Just a couple of other things before we hand it over to Brandon. Um, so the Paylocity payroll integration. This integration piece does work with all three tiers of our software. So whether you've got the basic, plus, or the pro, you'll be able to connect to the Paylocity integration. And where you do that in Traction is right here. So on the left navigation of Traction, if you go under Tools and click on Integrations, you'll see the button for Paylocity. Um, Something to say about this, we don't want you just to connect to Paylocity today if you don't have it. We want you to kind of walk through this system with Brandon and our team, get some things squared away before you connect to Paylocity. And so Brandon's going to kind of talk about that today. But the cool thing is we do have the integration to Paylocity. So anything that the Brandon's doing in Paylocity will flow back into Traction. Some of the things that he's going to be covering today, some of it's going to be high level, but I know Brandon's going to be deep diving into the product itself, and really it's an introduction webinar, so he's going to go through that step by step with you. And like I said, he's going to allow plenty of time for questions. So with that said, Brandon, I'll let you take it over.
Yeah, thanks, Brian. Well, hey, nice to meet everybody. My name is Brandon Marling. I'm with Paylocity. I am located in Albany, Indiana, and have worked in agriculture myself for many years. So I'll tell you a little bit about me. Been married for 25 years. Or 23 years, excuse me. I have four boys. Two of my sons have spread their wings and starting to fly on their own. I have a 25-year-old autistic son, and my youngest is 21 in his sophomore year at Ball State University. So, um, but I farmed for most of my life. Unfortunately, back in '05, I got my leg crushed. A guy swung a backhoe bucket around and crushed my leg between the bucket and a steel beam. Went back to farming for another 7 or 8 years, and it just got to be taxing on me, and made a switch. And how I went from farming to payroll, I don't know. People ask me that all the time, but technology, service, and price is one way that or ways that we set us ourselves apart. So we use our own software on a daily basis. So I clock in, clock out, track my PTO, things like that. If you call in, you're going to get a no voicemail policy. So somebody's going to pick up, and our customer service is US based reps. So if you call in, you're going to get somebody in the US. We charge one time per month as well, folks, and you guys can run as many payrolls as you'd like. But what we're going to do is we're going to jump into it here. And if somebody could give me a thumbs up when you guys can see my screen, I will jump in and show you the platform here. All right. Are you
Yep,
guys able to see my screen? Fantastic. All
yep, we
right.
can.
Well, this is the desktop version. Everything that you see here today on the desktop version, everybody can do through the mobile app as well. So if you have employees that you want to be able to clock in and clock out, they can do that here by just clicking in, um, you know, clock in, clock out, different things. One thing that I like about this is, they could put Johnson Field. Maybe they're going to the field right first thing in the morning, and not going to the shop, and you kind of wanted to track it by project, things like that. You could do that. But they could clock in and clock out that way, which is really nice. Another great thing that I like is it gives them the task punches, right? Maybe they forgot to punch in or punch out. It's going to give them those reminders. Another great thing is I'm sure several of you have had your employees come to you wanting 5 or 6 pay stubs, right? Um, you don't have to do that anymore. The employees can pull those all on their own. Another great feature that I like is our security features, because people these days can get your information anyway. But if you're sitting in a diner, let's say, and you're looking at your personal pay and things, somebody's walked up behind you, you want to just hit that button and get rid of that information. It's very important to have that security, for your information. But you can click on these pay stubs here. What's nice is it gives you the breakdown of your deductions, your taxes, all that here right here in this red ring, or in this ring here. We can track PTO. So if you offer vacation, sick, or holiday time here, employees will be able to track that time and they can request that, which is really, really nice. I know some folks only allowed to have like 4 hours or half the day. We can go down to 4 hours a day, and they can go down here and request time off. What's nice about this is it can then go to the supervisor and they can approve that. So if maybe they got a call from the school or something like that, they can put some notes down here. Got a call from the school, be right back, gonna run them over to grandma's, that type of thing, right? Another great thing that is really nice is have this community here. You can click on community and go to, I'll just click on it, click and show you, but you can make announcements. This would have been really nice when I was farming because we always did an anhydrous training and a bin training. At every year, the fire department would come over, but you can make an announcement here, post that there. We're going to be having bin and anhydrous training or something like that on this date. Please make sure that you guys are here, things like that, which makes it really, really nice because at the farm, everybody's going different directions, right? So you can make those announcements. But everything, like I said, is basically right here on the app. Everybody can make changes to their pay subs. They can make changes to their W-2 or W-4s. Either maybe they had a child and they didn't need to make a deduction. It puts it on the employee now at this point, and so the admins don't have to spend all that time in the office making those changes and things, right? So they can have multiple bank accounts as well. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump into the payroll piece here. So you would go up to payroll, run payroll. And then what we're going to do is we're going to build out your guys' platform, put all your pay periods in there, what your pay frequency is, and then all you have to do is go here and click on Start Payroll. Okay. Then what happens is we create a batch. What's really great about Paylocity is it's a very intelligent system, and we have what we call our Google of Paylocity. This button right here is your help button, and you can click on that for knowledge base. What we're getting ready to do is create a batch. But let's say you came in today and you could not remember how to process payroll. All you have to do is type in payroll. Everything that has to do with payroll will pop up. If you click on payroll batch, it'll give you the step-by-step instruction on how to do that. Okay. So, or like maybe you wanted a report. You need to find a report. You just type in report. Everything that has to do with reports will pop up. Maybe you want to create a report, view a report, write a new report, things like that. You can do that. If you need to get support, you can click on Get Support. It'll bring up your account manager, and they are available till 6:30 Mountain Time, or excuse me, Central Time. And so it'll give you their account number. And please forgive my Wi-Fi. I still live in a little podunk town with gravel roads and the street light here. So, and I always joke that we just got put on the map because we got a Dollar Tree and a Dollar General. So, but here's your account manager's number and email phone. And you can call them directly, which is really, really nice. But also, we have this AI feature up here, guys. So if you have a more in-depth question or something along those lines, you can click on this AI feature and ask it, what is the deduction code for mileage reimbursements or something like that. So you can get real granular there, and that will walk you through and give you different videos and walkthroughs as well. So a lot of help, self-help stuff here, but what we're going to do is we're going to create that batch. As you can see, we have bonus, expense, different types of pay, holiday pays, different things like that. Most of the time that's going to be on regular. So what we'll do is we'll hit next. This next screen that pops up is where you're going to want to name that batch. So today, for a lot of folks, it's payday today. So we're going to put 1/9/2026. That way, 2026. When you guys are needing to find a payroll, it's easy to find because that's the payday. So we're going to create the batch. And then once this screen pops up here, it's going to show you your grid view. This is what we got here. This is regular, overtime, personal, holiday, sick, bonus, and different types of tips and commissions. We will customize these out and build this out during implementation for exactly what you need so it doesn't look as congested. But please keep in mind this is a demo environment. But we'll use this employee here. This is a salary employee. As you can see, he has a check mark beside his name, a set amount, So as this has a check mark beside it, that amount is automatically going to be paid, and you can still track these hours as far as like regular overtime if you want to track your salary, folks. If I scroll down here and use Shepherd, basically it's just as easy as manually putting it in here. If you don't track the time, you would manually enter it. I know some of you folks are still manually doing things, and I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel for you. But basically, if you track it within Paylocity, all that information will automatically be here. If you don't track the time, then you'll just have to manually enter it in here, okay? So what you would do at that point is just hit continue to review. And then what it's going to do, it's going to scan for issues. Maybe you might have accidentally put 400 hours in there for the employee, but it was only supposed to be 40. It's going to track that and catch that at this point. So what we're going to do is we're going to continue the summary. And then at this point, what we request that you do is you can go ahead and hit approve if you want, but we always request that you run a pre-processed payroll register. So what you would do at that point is you could pull it right here and run that, but I've got it pulled here so you can see what that looks like. Okay. The reason you're going to want to pull this is because maybe you gave this employee a pay increase from 15 to 20 in the middle of the pay cycle. Our system will pick that up and make that change for you. So you would want to make sure that, hey, that the rate of pay is changed. So rate of pay is changed. It takes the hours, the rate of pay, brings it to the amount, brings the amount over here. And then here's your local, state, and federal, gives you those amounts here that came out of that. If you had somebody that had a child support garnishment, we can handle that. That is part of our packages, but that is something very important that you would want to make sure was on that employee's paycheck, or they may not be showing up for work. But as you can see, we have direct deposit here for this employee. This employee has direct deposit. And I know some of you folks might still have an employee that still wants a check. And you would know that, hey, I need to cut a check for $936.61 here. Okay. Now, at that point, you're going to also want to run a payroll summary. And what this does, guys, is this gives you the total liability on that complete payroll. A lot of other payroll providers will have you pull a report to show the liability for the employee, but also for the employer. So them together, that way you can see everything all at once. So here's the employee amount and the employer amount, and it drops them straight down. So as you can see, right here's the federal, and what the employees paid on that, what the employer paid. It brings down your local and tallies that all together, and then puts all the total liability together here, but then totals it up down here. That way you know exactly what needs to be within your banking account so you can process that payroll. Okay. So now at this point, you're going to go back to your payroll and you're going to approve your batch. You'll click this button here and you'll submit and approve here. And then you'll continue to submit. And then all you've got to do is submit payroll right here. And you'll have a big balloon and everything works really well there. What's nice about this, guys, is that when you process your payrolls within Paylocity, the two systems speak and that information will automatically flow over into your Traction Ag side. So very, very, very simple, very easy process. Anybody have any questions at this point?
Yeah, very good, Brandon. Yeah, feel free to unmute yourself if you have any questions, or you can use the chat on the toolbar or the Q&A.
Also, guys, we handle 943s. We can handle commodity wages, seasonal employees. What's nice about that is you can make them active or inactive. And then if they return, you can reactivate them and don't have to rekey in all that information. Basically, you're just going to want to verify their banking account information and things like that. But just turn them back on, and you're only charged for active employees. So like I said, you can kind of fluctuate your pay and things like that. But if nobody has any questions at this point, I'll just show you exactly what the pricing looks like for Traction Ag. They get a really nice discount of almost 43% discount here. But this right here is the effortless payroll package. Everything you see here with the check marks is part of it. So if you have PTO, paid time off, that's part of that package. we will automatically calculate, pay, and file all of your local, state, and federal taxes on your behalf as well. So you'll see tax services here, and you'll also see garnishments on here if you have a child support garnishment, things like that. Now, once you go into the efficient tech package, the reason that you would fall into that package is if you wanted to track the time and attendance. Okay. And so I've only got one farm at this time that is in the modern workplace, but they have 50, I think it's 54 employees. But most of the time, the farms are either going to be in the effortless or the efficient technology. So hopefully that kind of helped. I know some of you might have some questions on the pricing. And I also am more than happy to speak of and talk about pricing because I know some of you guys may only have maybe one or two employees, right? And so this might be look a little expensive to you. So we can definitely talk about that. You can definitely go on to Traction Ag and click on Payroll and follow the prompts there and can schedule an appointment directly on my calendar. And then I can do a demo for you and show you the next steps of what to do if you guys are interested in going with Paylocity. But more than happy to answer any questions at this point.
Yeah, thanks, Brandon. We got plenty of time here for questions, so love to hear them. If you, I'm not sure if any of you have been using Paylocity for a while or maybe new to this platform, but we welcome any of the questions you might have. Brandon, can you kind of get into what it would, I guess, what does it look like when you go through the onboarding for Paylocity? Like, is it different levels or steps to that, or?
Oh, no, actually. So basically, what we'll do here is we need an employee onboarding sheet, which we call an employee demographic form. Employees will fill this out, or you can fill it out if you are already using a payroll system that has this information in here. But we will key in all that information. We also will train you on all of this stuff. So basically, the very first payroll, we're going to drive the tractor. You'll sit in the buddy seat. And the second payroll, we will switch seats at that point and walk you through it. An awesome thing about this as well, guys, is I'm always a contact to you guys. And like I said, we use our own technology on a daily basis. So typically I can walk you through what you're needing. But we have like I said, a fantastic service department, and you're going to get US based reps. But, just depending on information, this is what we need for each employee, unless you have a report. But basically, we would need like proof of your FEIN, your state proof. I always like to get a voided check and any payrolls that you've possibly ran in the current quarter, things like that. But what what we do is we'll set up a meeting. I will go over everything with you. I always provide this Traction Ag pricing sheet as well. So if you start out on the effortless payroll side and would like to jump up maybe 5 or 6 months down the road or something along those lines, we can do that. Also downgrades that way. We don't have any contracts or anything like that, guys. The only thing we ever ask is if you guys ever leave Paylocity, that you give us a 30-day notice. So we charge on a month-to-month basis. Okay.
Had a question come through. Yeah, I had a
Yeah.
question here for you, Brandon. So can I write manual checks to pay employees versus direct deposit?
Yes, absolutely. So if we go back to the payroll screen, I'll show you here. Let me go back here. Go back to this register here. As you can see, this employee here has direct deposit. This one has direct deposit. This one has checks. So it really falls down. I'll set it up to where you guys can write checks. Also, there is an option that you can print those checks through Traction Ag as well. But
Okay, very
yes, you
good.
can handwrite those checks.
Any other questions? Yeah, feel free to unmute yourself or use the chat.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not. Oh, we got one more here. So question, if I manually write a check, will you still take the taxes from my bank account and make the deposits for me?
Yes, we will, 100%. So we also have a check calculator as well built into our system. And so you can write those checks. But yes, we will automatically, as you can see here, this employee has a check. We've taken all their taxes out and allocated those. But yes, you can. We will take all those taxes out, and then you would know, like right here on this report, that hey, you need to write Ricardo a check for the 936.61. But yes, we will automatically calculate, pay, and file all local, state, and federal taxes on your behalf, which this is really designed, guys, to save you time, give you more time to focus on your day and on the farm and, focus on your employees. That helps with retention and keeping good employees. And it also helps giving them a nice platform to be able to, pull their pay stubs or get their W-2 at the end of the year. So that's another thing that we will provide W-2s. The employees can pull them on their own, and then we can either send a hard copy directly to the farm and you can hand them out, or we can also add the employees' addresses on. That way they directly go to them. Another thing that I do want to cover really quick is you can always process payroll up to 9 days before that payroll, your next payroll. So 9 days prior, we request that you process 2 days prior. But if, say, today was Friday and payday, you could process payroll yesterday, and everybody still would have gotten a direct deposit as of today. So we can process the day prior. Same day ACHs, if you were to process a payroll on Friday for Friday payday, there is a $75 fee for that. I've only ran into that once, and one of the farms, his wife had passed, and obviously that was something that was out of his hands, so we went ahead and waived that fee for him. But I do like to let everybody know, you'll find working with me, I'm a very upfront person, and you won't find anything hidden or find out about something later on. I'm very upfront and will let you know about that. But yes, there is a $75 fee for same day ACHs. So, but normally we don't run into that.
Okay. Yeah, thanks, Brandon. Any other
Yeah.
questions? Yeah.
But again, if you
Yeah.
guys want to book a meeting with me and have a more in-depth demo, just go to Traction Ag and click on their payroll piece. It's going to ask you to send me an email with some information, company name, address, stuff. And then what I will do is send you a meeting invite. But you can book a meeting directly on my calendar through Traction's site there. Okay.
Yeah, I'll show that in a little bit here, Brandon, where you go to do
Okay.
that.
Fantastic.
Um, yeah, any last chance, any questions for Brandon?
I do want to let everybody know that we will also be at the Fort Wayne Farm Show as well. If you guys are going to be there, I'd be more than happy to meet you and go into a more in-depth demo with you as well. So just want to let you guys know that.
Yeah, it's hard to believe that show is next week already. And we will be at National Farm Machinery Show the week of Valentine's Day. It's always that seems to be that same week. So yeah, we'll be there, and Commodity Classic would be yet another event that we'll be at. But yeah, National Farm Show and the Fort Wayne Show. Actually, Brandon, you'll be in the booth, so that'd
Yep.
be nice to have you there. I'm not seeing any other questions for today, so I think we're just going to go ahead and wrap this up. I'm going to share my screen, Brandon.
Yep.
All right, just let me know when you can see that.
I can see it, Brian.
Okay, so just again, just to wrap up today's webinar, again, thank you for joining today. I want to invite all of you to some other upcoming webinars. We've been working hard to add those, and this week we added quite a few. We had some requests for field profitability type webinars, also the equipment cost, and there's a integration with Keystone as well as FS as far as integrating bills and attraction. We have webinars for that. So I have other webinars not listed on the screen here. So what you want to do is go to our website, go to resources, click on upcoming events, or just go down the footer of our website. There's an upcoming events button. You'll see all the webinars from there. You can sign up. They're all free. We love to have you at those webinars. The other thing I wanted to point out, and Brandon has been talking about that today, is the Traction website. So if you go to tractionag.com, Under platform, if you click on payroll, the very top, you'll land here on this page. So at the very top here, you can click on book Paylocity meeting. That's what Brandon was referring to. If you click that button, that will get you into an area that allows you to set up a meeting with Brandon. And so that will kind of add it to his calendar and you can pick out the day and time, that kind of thing. So feel free to use that. And right there is Brandon's email address as well. So um, actually, it's just B Marling, right, at
Yep.
paylocity.com. There's no at symbol ahead of that. Okay.
Nope.
Um, so,
Feel free to text. Feel free to text, call, or email.
okay, there's
Happy to
his
help
phone
in any
number
way.
there too on the screen. So, yeah, feel free to reach out. Other than that, I think we'll shut her down for today and hope all of you have a great Friday and weekend ahead of you and hope to see you at the next webinar.
Thanks for your time,
Thank you.
guys.